There is a particular quietness that forms in a person who has been through more than they tend to say. It is not sadness, it is not distance. It is the specific stillness of someone who has done a lot of internal work nobody asked them about, over a long period, without the relief of ever quite finishing. If you are watching this, that is probably your quietness. The word probably is deliberate. If probably describes you, the rest of this video is for you. If definitely describes you, this video is even more for you, though you may already know most of what it is going to say. This is the psychology of the quiet ones. The people who have been through too much and who do not, as a rule, tell anyone. In the next 10 minutes, 4 markers. Not steps, not stages, not advice. 4 markers that describe how this psychology tends to look from the inside. And near the end, one recognition almost nobody ever delivers to these viewers in language, even though most of them have been waiting for it for years. The first marker is an economy of words. These people have become careful with language. They do not overshare. They do not narrate their own emotional states in real time. When they do speak about something real, they use fewer words than other people would use for the same material. This is not avoidance, it is precision. They have learned that most language, in most situations, does not actually help, and that the cost of over-speaking about something real is usually higher than the cost of leaving it mostly in silence. They can have a whole conversation about difficulty in 3 or 4 sentences. Someone listening might conclude it was a small difficulty. It was not. It was an appropriately sized sentence for an enormous thing. The difficulty was proportional. The words were not, because words are rarely proportional to anything that has actually cost something. What you have been doing is work. It has been real work, done without help, done for long stretches, done without anyone announcing that it was happening. The fewer words, the heavier the thing underneath them. There are 3 more markers. None of them are going to surprise you. You will recognize all of them. The value is not in the surprise. It is in the naming. The second marker is a specific difficulty with conversations that stay on the surface, not because the surface is beneath them, because the surface requires an energy they have learned is finite, and they have learned to spend their finite energy on things that return something real. At a party, they drift toward one person, one conversation that is slightly more real than the rest. In a group, they go quiet while others perform. In a casual check-in, they answer briefly, because the full answer would require the other person to hold more than the conversation was asking to hold. This reads, to other people, as antisocial or moody or distant. It is none of those things. It is a person whose nervous system has done the accounting and concluded that it cannot afford to spend what surface-level engagement costs. Not antisocial, careful, not pessimistic, accurate, not closed. Selective about what to open for. They are not bad at small talk. They have priced it accurately. The size of what you have been carrying has not been obvious from the outside. It has probably been invisible to most of the people in your life. That is not their failure. It is the nature of what you have been carrying, which is the kind of thing that does not usually come with visible signs. The absence of signs is not evidence of absence. If any of this has reached somewhere real, do not be alarmed by the reaching. You do not have to do anything with this video. You do not have to post it. You do not have to message anyone. You can just watch the rest, close the tab, and go back to whatever you were doing. Nothing is required of you here. That is the entire point. If you have made it this far, you already know most of what this video is about. What is left is not new information. It is language for what you already know. That language is what most people in your life have never given you. The third marker is something these people almost never name out loud, even when asked. They see what is coming before other people see it. They recognize tension in a room before the room has fully tensed. They recognize the early signs of a person about to collapse, a relationship about to end, a workplace about to turn. They know because they have seen these patterns before, at the cost of having to live through them. The knowing is not psychic. It is pattern recognition trained on experience, something closer to experiential pattern learning, where a nervous system that has done real work begins to read the room at a level other nervous systems have not had to develop. Most people are lucky enough not to need this skill. The people who have been through too much developed it without choosing to and cannot turn it off. This is often mistaken, by less experienced people, for pessimism. It is not pessimism. It is accurate advance reading of situations the less experienced people have not yet had to read. They are not expecting the worst, they are recognizing it. The specific way you move through the world now, the quietness, the selectivity, the economy of words, the slight reserve, is not a personality change. It is the shape a nervous system takes after it has done a certain amount of real work. It is earned, not defective. Most people who describe it as defective have not done the work. The fourth marker is the softest. These people recognize each other without speaking. They identify each other across rooms, across meetings, across cursory introductions. There is a specific quality to the eye contact, the brevity of a greeting, the way someone does not ask too much. Two people who have been through their own versions of too much will, often within a minute, know about each other without having exchanged a single piece of information that would explain the knowing. This kinship is one of the few genuinely restorative things in these people's lives. Not because they discuss what they have been through. They almost never do. It is because they are briefly in the presence of someone who does not need them to explain why they are quiet, why they are careful, why they do not perform being fine. The explanation is already understood. You are not the only one. The people who have been through their own versions of too much are, collectively, a larger group than any of its members realize. You have probably been among them for years, recognizing each other without having the language to name what you were recognizing. They are not alone in this. They are just in small company. Before the end of the video, there is one recognition I want to put in plain language. It is the part the rest of the video has been preparing to deliver. What comes next is that part. Here is the recognition. You have been doing a particular kind of quiet work for a long time. You have been adapting, absorbing, recalibrating, and continuing. You have done this without the acknowledgement that most work receives, because the work has been invisible, and because you were the only witness to most of it. You have not asked for the acknowledgement. You probably would refuse it if it were offered with the wrong words, but the work was real. The weight was real. The fact that you are still here, still functional, still moving through the world with most of your decency intact, is not nothing. It is actually the opposite of nothing. It is one of the more difficult things a person can do, done quietly, done without help, done without a clear end point, and it has been seen even when nobody told you it was being seen. This video is, in whatever limited way a video can be, the telling you. You have been doing it. Someone has noticed. The someone turned out to be a stranger on the internet, but the noticing is still real. That is what most of these videos never get to. The specific weight you have been carrying includes something almost no one has ever named to you. Almost no one in your life has named what you have actually been doing. The people around you have either not known or known partially, or known and chosen not to name it, because naming it would require more from them than they had available to give. You have carried your quiet work without witness, and the absence of witness has slowly become part of the weight. But the absence of witness does not mean the work did not happen. The work happened. It has been happening. You are still here. You are functional enough to be watching a video. You are present enough to be recognizing yourself in it. The fact that these are low bars does not diminish them. For someone who has been through what you have been through, these are not low bars. The version of you that has been doing this, the one most of your life has never fully seen, is the most accurate version of who you are. Everyone else has been looking at the surface. The surface has been, for a long time, the smallest part of you. That is not a tragedy. That is, in its own quiet way, the shape of a real life. You are allowed to not be fine. You are allowed to still be in the middle of whatever this is. The fact that you have been in the middle of it for years does not mean you should be past it by now. There is no schedule. Anyone who has told you there was a schedule has never been where you have been. The middle is a long place. You are allowed to still be there. If this video gave you language for something, there will be more of them. Subscribing is what lets the next one find you when you need it. That is the only reason to do it. The work you have been doing without witness has still been work, and someone finally has seen it.